She's going to try to summarize the whole thing in Spanish.
And she wants me to stick to the talking points. Hey, man. So, you know, we moving up traffic if they all going that way. Much as it's a great visual, you ought to move it up earlier next time, 9 o'clock. Next time, better make it 9 o'clock.
Yeah, the problem is the cameras don't get here that early.
Yeah. Oh, the reason that we jammed on time is because y'all won't get it. You all won't show up at 9 o'clock.
We just want to make it easy on you, that's all.
Yeah. Did you know what y'all should do? Write it on a piece of paper. So here you go. Oh, here they are. This is it. That's it. This is it. I got it. But I like what Elizabeth does. Tape it on there. I got it. That's it. Cynthia Cole.
She's not speaking there. She's going to be standing.
Okay. Who's this one? She's coming. Was that Elsa?
Yeah, it's right there.
Now we can get started.
No, now she's here. She's here.
We are here. How you doing, sir?
Good. Okay, we're going to get started so we don't have a little traffic jam coming here with people trying to come in. Thank you all for coming. So I'm Rodney Ellis, and this will be the lineup. I'll speak, and then Elsa Flores with SEIU will speak. Derek Osabase with CWA, Jay Malone with AFL-CIO. Cynthia Cole won't speak, but she may show up as well. Oh, there she is. Come up and join us. She'll join us as well. Today we celebrate a historic win for working families and labor while doubling down on our commitment to fight for living wages and economic equity. For 18 years, the SEIU has led the charge for justice for janitors. Just this past Saturday, union members ratified a new contract that will see hourly wages for full-time workers reach $15 an hour. This is an overdue, hard-won victory. However, the fight for working families, good jobs, and a fair living wage is far from over in Harris County. Despite our region's vast prosperity, Harris County is home to ongoing and growing inequality. This is especially true for communities of color, women, working families, and young people. People stretch every dollar that they have and still can't make ends meet, much less save for a rainy day or invest in their family's future. Stagnant low wages, soaring costs, and an economy that works for the privileged instead of working families has made it harder for people to get by and to get ahead. Nearly 7% of our region's workforce is considered to be working poor. That means with a job that does not pay enough to pay their bills. The Kinder Institute recently released a study that showed 46% of those surveyed in this study could not afford a $400 emergency in cash on hand. That's the highest level recorded in that survey's history. Over the past several years, although Harris County Prosperous initiative that we put together has done a lot of good, the county has taken action to create good-paying jobs, safe jobs, build union-backed career pipelines, and level the economic playing field for businesses owned by people of color and women. But we have to do more to ensure that working families can thrive instead of simply surviving. Harris County government needs to lead by example in this fight for living wages. That's why today I'm asking my colleagues on Commissioners Court to move forward with establishing a living wage policy that will set a minimum floor of $15 an hour for people who work directly for Harris County or for people who are contractors with Harris County. We don't stop at $15 an hour. Note I said a living wage. $15 an hour is a starting point. This builds on the work we have already done to set a $15 minimum wage for most county employees, for workers on vertical construction jobs. With today's policy, we will touch everybody who works for Harris County or does subcontractor work for Harris County. I'm proud to work with my colleagues on this. I hope we have the votes. I have not counted them, but I'm optimistic. I'm proud of the work that we've done to lead on this issue, but we have to do more. We're falling behind Houston, the city of Houston, Dallas, Austin, and Travis County in raising our minimum wages for employees and contracted workers. There are janitors contracted to clean county facilities today who are paid as little as $10 an hour, and we often don't even know their wages for workers or for people who have contracted to do jobs for us. If this policy passes, that will stop. No one doing work for the county should have to struggle to make ends meet. My items call for the county administrator to develop or update policies to do 4 things. Apply our minimum wage standards to all employees regardless of how their positions are funded. Ensure we're providing a living wage and not permanently plateau at $15 an hour as a minimum wage. Include our wage standards for workers on all contracts. And 4th, increase transparency in worker wages and classification. I didn't say 5, but the 5th one is there will be an enforcement mechanism. I'm proud to stand here today with the people and unions who've been leading this fight for many years for economic opportunity, good jobs, and fair pay. Working together, we can help bridge the economic divide and deliver economic stability, fair opportunity, and shared prosperity for everybody in Harris County. And with that, I'll turn it over to my colleagues to speak. Elsa?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Elsa Flores. I am the president of SCIU Texas. And first, I want to start by just thanking Commissioner Ellis again for leading with his values and making sure that no worker gets left behind. You heard earlier in his speech, he talked about Houston janitors settling their contract just this last week, where janitors in Houston who are cleaning the commercial buildings are now moving or took a huge step forward by having full-time workers go to above the $15 by the end of the contract, and still took a huge step to get the part-time workers closer to that goal. But again, that's not enough. Right? We need to make sure every worker in the city of Houston is able to live with the dignity and the respect that they deserve. And Harris County today has the opportunity to do just that. They started out by making sure that the county workers had a minimum of $15 an hour, and now they're making sure that workers who are doing subcontract work for the Harris County, that includes janitorial workers, that could include security officers, and many other workers who frankly have been left behind in the past, will now also have an opportunity to have a livable minimum wage of $15 an hour. What does that mean for workers, such as janitors? I think it makes a difference from them to maybe potentially only do one job in their lives that pays a livable wage and allows them to take care of their families instead of having to do a second job or sometimes even a third job. So I really commend Harris County for taking that huge step and bringing their standards up to where the city is. And I think the road does not stop here. We all know $15 is just a step forward, a huge step forward. Thank you so much. But we're not going to stop. As labor, I think we're committed 100% to make sure that Texas, that Houston continues to bring standards up instead of dragging them down. So I want to really congratulate Commissioner Ellis for helping to make that happen, and also my colleagues here from labor who never give up. They never give up. We are committed to continue the fight for livable, good jobs in the city of Houston, and thank you so much. You need me to do it in Spanish or not?
Maybe we'll get it on there.
Perfect.
And then we'll do it in Spanish. Derek, also base? Yeah, good couple, Derek.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Commissioner Ellis, for this huge step. You know, I represent Harris Center organizing committee who's fighting for their union, and this is a big step forward in moving towards a livable wage for those folks at Harris Center. These are individuals that do crucial work in this county. And we got to think about these folks have been working hard and they're committed to this county. And so now it's time for the county to start making steps to ensuring that they have a livable wage. And CWA is really excited about the fact that, you know, Commissioner Ellis is leading the fight on this. We got to continue to be example. The county can be an example for other employers on how to treat their workers and ensuring that workers can actually live off the wages that they make. And in this county, and the employees that do very important work, when unforeseen emergencies happen, it is the county workers that are the front lines and that are serving the residents of Harris County. And those folks need to be taken care of as well. And so I commend Commissioner Ellis, I commend the county commissioners for moving in this direction. And we hope to continue to ensure that workers in the county and in the Harris Center get the wages and the benefits that they deserve. And I want to just say thank you to Commissioner Ellis and really appreciate the work that you're doing. Thank you.
Jay Malone, AFL-CIO.
Thank you, Commissioner. Jay Malone with the Texas Gulf Coast Area Labor Federation. First, I'd just like to congratulate my brothers and sisters at SEIU Texas for winning one of the biggest contracts in the history of Texas. And we stand obviously in solidarity with our brothers and sisters at CWA that are fighting for their union at the Harris Center. You know, the reality of what this policy means is it can be the difference between life and death for a lot of people. We see this with every disaster. People that are struggling to keep a roof over their heads, when a disaster hits, a lot of times they're not able to maintain their properties in a way that's safe. They're not able to clear a tree that may fall, and the results of that is that health disparities are only growing in our communities across Harris County. And we're thankful that Commissioner Ellis and our Commissioners Court are taking real steps to open up opportunities for real careers, for union jobs, for living wages, for safe jobs that we all deserve. Last year, Harris County invested $9.1 million in union apprenticeships, the largest we believe in American history, and we saw the results of that last week after the storm. 4 of our apprentices went out to Kashmir Gardens and they helped to free a family that was trapped by a fallen tree. That was only because Harris County had opened up those opportunities for those good union jobs, for those careers. It's the same thing that this policy is going to do for contractors that are struggling to make ends meet right now. These are opportunities that we all deserve, and we're thankful that the county, that Commissioner Ellis and his colleagues are taking steps to make sure that everyone has the opportunity they deserve in this county. So, thank you.
Thank you. Now Cynthia Cole will give us some comments in Spanish. No, she'll be brief, and then Elsa will do it in Spanish.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Cole. I'm the Executive Director for the American Federation of State County Municipal Employees, Local 1550, and I stand in solidarity with my sister here. This is not our first rodeo. We go back about 10 years ago. But I am going to say this. Last time I checked, I have to work for a living. Last time she checked, those janitors have to clean up and they have to work for a living. They can't do that based on $10. You can't even buy a loaf of bread. You can't even pay your rent. You can't even pay your insurance. So I am grateful to my sister in the fight, to my other labor brothers in the fight, and to Commissioner Rodney Ellis, who has made sure that the fight is not forgotten. If you think it's something antiquated in reference to people standing together to make sure that they can have a decent and respectable way of making their life, think twice. Because one day, you might be standing on the opposite side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia.
You don't have to say it all in Spanish.
No,
Just a
rápido. De nuevo, mi nombre es Elsa Flores, soy la presidente de SEIU Texas. Representamos trabajadores en la ciudad de Houston que limpian los edificios aquí del centro, pero también tenemos trabajadores del aeropuerto. Primero estoy aquí para agradecerle al comisionado Ellis por tomar esta decisión de llevar a los trabajadores del condado, no solamente los que ya trabajan para el condado, pero los que están haciendo trabajo de subcontrato a un mínimo de $15 la hora. Esto es muy importante, ya como ustedes oyeron la semana pasada, los trabajadores de limpieza de Houston ganaron su contrato, el mejor contrato que han tenido en mucho tiempo, que los lleva a un salario mínimo de 15. Ahora el condado está haciendo lo mismo y se los agradecemos porque esto ayuda a que terminemos con este ciclo de pobreza en la ciudad de Houston, a que tomemos un paso adelante para tener trabajos que le dan dignidad a las personas, que les ayudan a cuidar a sus familias con la dignidad que merecen. Harris County está haciendo lo necesario, la ciudad de Houston ya lo hizo, ahora es tiempo que otras empresas se unan a esto y empiecen a dar trabajos en la ciudad de Houston que deja que las personas puedan cuidar a sus familias con mucha dignidad. Así que ojalá que tengamos el voto hoy y podamos mover esta póliza. Muchas gracias.
Any quick questions? I know I don't want to create a traffic jam. Any questions? Okay, thank you. And we're available for comments. Come on in.
That's it.
I know, you should like that. Exactly.
Okay. Sure. Stand before you this day asked to pray before our leaders and on behalf of the county they lead. You, beyond all praise and words of adoration that I might offer, be with us this day and guide us. Strengthen us when we must do the right thing, not the easy thing. Let us never fail to provide our colleagues with the grace we demand for ourselves. Let us not be afraid to admit our humanity, our imperfection, and protect us from the adversary that uses our egos against us. Watch over our county and those that serve and protect us. We gather this day during the ancient counting toward Pentecost, one of 49 days that has us combine 7 of your holy attributes in prayers so that we can become the best version of ourselves. This day, appropriately, is the day of Malchut and Yesod, a day that has your sovereignty combined with foundation. We, God, are called to combine your will for us with our basic needs as your human children. Help us do that, God, for ourselves and for all our brothers and sisters in our beloved Harris County. In closing, I ask you to bless our commissioners and judge and all of us with the threefold blessing you gave my ancestors so long ago. Yivarechecha Adonai v'shmerecha, may God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, may God shine forth upon you and be gracious unto you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God look upon you and grant you every fullness. Be this your will. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Let's recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to you, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Let's just put it there for now. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Housekeeping notes. Commissioner Garcia is not attending today, but he has a virtual link and may join during particular items. We have 8 resolutions out of order. 1 public hearing item 429 regarding a revision to a subdivision plat in precinct 3. And we have a request to take item 496, property tax assistance week, out of order right after resolutions. Is that right, Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
And then we also have a request by OMB to take 29, the 5-year plan, at 2 p.m. Is it after lunch or at 2 p.m., you guys?
After lunch.
After lunch, got it. And then request by county attorney to take executive session before 5 p.m. Okay, so I will keep that only if items 475 and 476 need to be discussed, which I do need to discuss. All right, any other housekeeping items, colleagues? Oh, and the county court judges are here. I think, not yet. Okay, but do you know if they're coming? They will be coming, okay. So we'll look out for them. And then when they come, we'll give them an opportunity to speak so they can resume their work schedule. And they're signed to speak on a non-agenda item. All right, so I'll count on you guys to let me know if I miss the judge's arrival. Great. So let's get started with the resolutions out of order. The first one under my agenda is item 1, and it recognizes the Harris County Public Library and the Children's Museum as recipients of the 2024 National Medal for Museum and Library Service. And it seems like every court we have an accolade for the library, a well-earned, important one. So I just want to note that and the incredible job they're doing. So it says here, whereas the Children's Museum in Houston and Harris County Public Library are cherished institutions that together welcomed over 3.4 million visitors through their doors in 2023. They both believe that all children thrive when they're given the opportunity and encouraged to explore science, technology, engineering, math, cultures, art, literacy. They provide programs and resources that strengthen communities, nurture curiosity, and inspire lifelong learning. They reach far beyond their walls, enriching the lives of over 170,000 people in Houston and Harris County through their outreach efforts, which are always presented completely free of charge. And of course, that is in addition to the millions and millions of interactions they have. Whereas the Institute of Museum and Library Sciences has awarded the Children's Museum Houston and Harris County Public Library 2024 National Medals for Museum and Library Science. Library service. This is the nation's highest honor given to museums and libraries that make significant and exceptional contributions to their community. 2024 marks the first time in 27 years that an institution in Harris County has received this honor, and the only time that two institutions in the same metropolitan area were honored simultaneously. Be it resolved that Harris County Commissioners Court hereby recognizes the Children's Museum Houston and Harris County Public Library as recipients of the 2024 National Medal for Museum and Library Service. Congratulations, you guys. It's a big deal, and just while you guys come up here, I think you guys are so celebrated that we almost take it for granted. But this is huge, so we're all very, very excited. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Rayanne Darensberg, CEO of the Children's Museum Houston. I just want to share with you a little bit about our mission: transform communities through innovative and child-centered learning that improves the trajectory of all children. And we emphasize educational equity. And we are honored to serve as a medal winner this year in ensuring that every family has the best science, technology, engineering, math, cultural, and art exhibit programming in the world. Since our inception in 1986, we've served over 26 million through our museum and outreach programs. We want to make sure that kids are school ready. 35% of our visitors come in free of charge. We prepare children for STEM-dependent careers, and we celebrate the diversity of Houston with arts and cultural programming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Edward Melton, Library Director for Harris County Public Library. Thank you all for your support of Harris County Public Library. Establishing or designating Harris County Public Library as a book sanctuary, your support in terms of our broadband efforts. We couldn't do this work in the library without support of Commissioners Court, and so thank you all for your support. The impact that we have in terms of enriching lives of the residents of Harris County really is acknowledged through this medal, and so I just, am very humbled in terms of the work that my staff do in terms of delivering these services to Harris County residents. Thank you.
Congratulations.
You guys, Commissioner Ellis has some comments for you as well.
Judge, I just want to reiterate it really is a big deal, and we're just so proud of both institutions. And it's remarkable to get the award, and for both of them to get the award, and in the same city, in the same county, in the same state as well. It's just really impressive, and we're just all so proud of you and appreciate the work that you all do. So thank you.
Thank you all so much. It's the first thing, so I think everyone's a little subdued, but imagine fireworks going off. It's very exciting, and congratulations. Okay, so
Judge,
yes,
we have one more speaker for this item.
Oh, thank you so much.
Tamara Bell, you have 1 minute.
Good morning. This is a huge deal. The Harris County Library, but the Houston Children's Museum has been recognized by Good Housekeeping of America as the top museum in the world. The Children's Museum doesn't only serve inside there. They go out and do outreach, which they've been doing for years. During Hurricane Harvey, they went to the Children's Museum, to the George R. Brown at the request of the leadership of Harris County and Houston to help those children get through the trauma that they were experiencing. And when they saw those shirts that said Children's Museum, they started screaming and they were so happy. So I'm telling you, the Children's Museum has been going to CUNY homes, Kelly Courts for years on a school bus on Thursdays for free to bring those children to the museum. You would be hard pressed to find a child or an adult who has not had a positive experience at the Children's Museum. So please give them the thundering round of applause they deserve.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bell. That's absolutely right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go on to item 2, which designates all eligible Harris County facilities as broadband community anchor institutions. And I have asked that we highlight this big award also to the media later today. So my team will be in touch and just see. I really think, it's a huge deal. I want to make sure the community knows about it. So anyway, okay. So whereas one of Harris County's missions through its Office of Broadband is to connect unserved and underserved communities to reliable high-speed internet access, public-facing Harris County facilities are uniquely positioned to provide both broadband internet access and services that enrich lives educationally, economically, and socially. The county's committed to digital literacy for all, and through a multi-department partnership has provided nearly 1,900 computer and technology classes thus far in 2023 at both library branch locations and community centers across the county. In response to COVID-19, the county took proactive measures by authorizing one-time funds to deploy a broadband mesh network that encompasses 130 public facilities, extending access to over 65,000 constituent users. A solicitation is planned for fiscal year 24 to contract with one or more managed service providers, leveraging innovative technologies and fostering public-private partnership solutions. To help ensure that all eligible Harris County residents enrolled in the Affordable Connectivity Program, Universal Services Digital Navigators regularly visited families across the county to assist patrons with the enrollment process. In recognition of Universal Services Office of Broadband and the library's Harris County Public Library Connected program, among other initiatives, we were designated a 2023 Visionary Digital Inclusion Trailblazer by the National Digital Inclusion Alliance. Be it resolved that Harris County Commissioners Court designates all eligible Harris County facilities that meet the Federal Communication Commission's criteria as broadband community anchor institutions. And I confess I'm a little bit thrown about what this is going to do. So if somebody, any of the speakers or the department heads want to explain just a little bit for the benefit of the community. Yes. Oh, welcome. Welcome, welcome, and congratulations. Yeah.
Good morning, Judge, and good morning, Commissioners. Sindhu Menon, Executive Director, Universal Services. We are very thankful for this resolution. With the ACP grant having expired, the challenge of connectivity and providing those low-cost broadband access to our population that needs it is kind of critical for us. Through the Community Anchor Institution resolution and working closely with Public Library and other departments within the county, we are coming up with the programs that would help address the gaps that have been left behind by the ACP grant expiration. So we have our broadband office has several programs like the Digital Navigator program, where our navigators are going to the community at the various precincts and educate the community about the various options that are available to them in order to get access to the low-cost internet. The other programs that we have, in place is the public broadband services, expanding of those services, which is where we would be looking at the public-private partnerships in the future months to come up with the solutions that we need to put in place. So under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021, $65 billion was authorized nationally to expand the broadband access and adoption and reduce disparities highlighted by COVID-19, including remote work, school, and healthcare opportunities. The state's proposed rules to the BEAD proposed initial proposal includes barriers for larger counties such as us. And these barriers are shown on the broadband development map, challenge determination, and with the eligibility requirements. Based on the statutory definition of the community anchor institutions, this resolution will help us define 137 county facilities as community anchor institutions, which will elevate the internet access possibilities at those locations.
Thank you.
So,
good. Thank you. So it'll help us go after some federal money.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's right. And I am joined with our lead from the Office of Broadband, Mr. Francisco Gallegos. If I have missed anything, he can touch on that.
Thank you. Very thorough, Director. I just wanted to add that by way of this designation, the expansion of it to 137 county facilities, this will provide the county with heightened tactical oversight of strategic acquisition efforts to obtain what is one-time generational funding made available by the IIJA. That's the bipartisan infrastructure law. There is approximately $33.3 billion are available, and we hope that through this designation we'll expand and make our efforts that much more competitive through that application process.
So quick question. So do we already have the funds to provide something, or are you guys competing for something? Just very, very briefly, like one sentence, what is coming out of this?
Yes, Judge. It will provide the county with the ability to develop a more strategic application that we made available by the State Broadband Office later this year.
We are looking for the grant applications, the BEAD applications. That's what this will help us through.
This will help us apply for grants that will then provide broadband access. Okay, got it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership.
I do see the district clerk here. So district clerk, I failed to mention earlier, and I was looking right at you, but I was just looking at my script here. So we'll take you up if that's okay right after resolutions.
I'm with the county court judges.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay, perfect. So we'll wait for them to arrive. Okay, got it. Thank you. So then we have Commissioner Ellis. These are all my resolutions.
Yep. So Judge, just briefly, I'm not going to read it. The one from Reverend Lawson. It was a great going home ceremony, and I'm just so appreciative to the city. And I know a number of my colleagues were there. You were there with me, and it was a great celebration. But just appreciate the support. I just want us to go on record, one from all of us instead of just the one from me that I presented. Some of you may have sent them from your offices as well. But what a great man, a great legacy. The other one that I have is number 7, if I can go to that one. Number 4. Number 4 is the one for Harris Center. We passed a resolution on June 27, 2023 to affirm the rights of Harris Center employees to organize a union free of retaliation, intimidation, and coercion. This one simply restates our support for the union and for a meaningful consultation policy under the law that gives mental health workers a real seat at the table. I did stop by a committee meeting and the board meeting. They were in executive session, so I was not able to observe the board meeting in person, but I'm hoping that they will come into an agreement for consultation with the union. Hope they'll include our county attorney's office if there are any questions about any legal issues in terms of what they can and cannot do. But, obviously that board does a great job. They have a tremendous challenge. The last few years highlighted the need for strong mental health workforce is so important. But I'm just hoping that they can resolve that issue quickly. And I would encourage them to do that. And if they can't, court after they meet again, I'm going to ask Mr. Wayne Young to come over and have a discussion in public, or if there's some legal issues that need to go into executive session, I want us to do that, but I want to get that behind us. So it's a simple resolution on that item. And then the last one I have is one for Gun Violence Awareness Month. Health Department asked me to carry it. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to go and present it to them, assuming it passes this court unanimously. And that's it for mine.
Thank you, Commissioner Briones.
Yes, on the Harris Center one, Commissioner Ellis, thank you for bringing this forward. I share your commitment to making sure that the Harris Center is working with all of our Harris Center workers. I know we've both and others have been working with Director Young and CWA to make sure that the board of directors of the Harris Center does the right thing by our workers, to make sure it's reflecting the wages and the safety and the protections that we have asked of the Harris Center. So I'm optimistic that they will continue the good faith negotiations to make sure we get it done and that we are doing right by all of the workers.
And thank you, Commissioner. And if it is permissible under our rules, if the legal department says it's possible, if some of our staff members need to meet with their team to sort it out, I hope they'll get this done. It's a year ago. Last June we first passed it. I can't remember the vote, but it might have been unanimous. I just can't remember. At least it would have been 4, maybe 5, I think. I just cannot remember. But I hope that they'll get that sorted out. And there may be some speakers on the item as well.
Are there speakers on that item 4?
Yes, ma'am. First is Cynthia Cole. You have 1 minute.
And while they speak, I would like to, unless, as Commissioner Ellis says, unless it's not allowed, folks, I'd love to hear from Mr. Young at some point if he can be called up. And while the labor union leaders are here, I don't know if the lead organizer is here, but I'd love to have that conversation. If we can't do that, then at least talk to Mr. Young later in executive session.
I think that should be fine, Judge.
And Judge, if there's some issues related to whether or not there's some possibility of litigation, I'd want us to take that into executive session.
We can go to executive session for any consultation with the attorneys. So if you want to have a discussion over the legal issues here, we can do that.
Okay. Ms. Cole.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I am Cynthia Cole, Executive Director for ASME Local 1550, and we are here standing in support and solidarity in regards to the opportunity for the Harris mental health staff to be able to unionize, be able to have advocacy, and to be able to ask on behalf of their working conditions, ensuring that they're in an equitable environment, an environment that affords them the opportunity for dignity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Alma Castillo. You have 1 minute.
Hi, good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Alma Castillo. I'm a child and adolescent therapist with the Harris Center for Mental Health and IDD, and I've been with the Harris Center for 10 years. I am a member of the organizing committee for the United Workers of the Harris Center, and I'm here today to ask you to support us, workers, and the resolution that is proposed to give our union, to help to give our union official status. We've been working since, well, it's been over a year, but since January we went public and asking for official status. We have over 10% of our employees that have signed our mission statement. And although publicly our CEOs has said and management have said that they support workers unionizing, we've had a lot of challenges and stalls by the board and executive management and getting a consultation policy proposed, which will give us actual official status and a way to speak further.
You can continue.
And then they have also been proposing anti-union proposals. They've been countering with anti-union proposals. So we ask for your support in helping this happen. We think it's really important for mental health workers to have dignity, to be satisfied, for us to have more retention in organizations such as the one I work for, to be able to give more access and better services to our community. Thank you so much.
So Ms. Castillo, I want to thank you for your leadership. I know it is not easy to come and speak publicly, and you work for them. But we are cognizant of that, and we're hoping this works out. And I think that we're committed to making sure it gets done soon. Over a year, I know the county judge and I went out to have a press conference when we passed the resolution, or maybe before we passed it, to say that it was going to be introduced.
Yes.
But I appreciate your leadership.
Thank you so much.
We stand in solidarity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Derek Osobase, you have 1 minute.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioner, Judges. How you doing, Lena? Good to see
Hi,
you.
nice
I'm
to
so
see
sorry.
you.
Good to see you. It's been a long time. My name is Derek Osabase. I am the CWA International Vice President. I am here in support of the resolution and want to thank y'all for bringing this before you and actually considering it. I'm just going to go really quickly through the history here. Look, workers at the Harris Center began talking to CWA formally in about 2023 after workers at Integral Care, which is in Austin, the local health mental authority in Travis County, successfully won their union and adopted a consultation policy in 2022. In January of this year, they collected signatures on their mission statement, about 10% of those signatures out of 2,500 employees. The Harris Center Union Organizing Committee has continued to organize across the cycle.
Thank you. Your time is up.
You can continue.
Oh, sorry. Since that time, employees' support for unionization and the consultation policy has grown. So far, in response, the executive management of Harris Center has been to delay or come up with excuses of why they won't support the union's proposal on consultation policies. In fact, their primary response has been to come up with their own policy, which is anti-union in its very conception and on paper. It is a management-driven policy, which does not take into consideration the fact that their employees have decided to unionize and organize, and they should acknowledge their union. We continue to hear this from leadership that they cannot grasp the fact that the consultation policy it's legal. It is something that is done throughout the state. It's a legal form of a way that unions and an employer can engage in actual agreement without any arbitration. It does not violate any of our laws currently on the books. There are many public employee organizations that use this throughout the state, and the fact that that they have not sat at the table in good faith and negotiated this out with us is quite frankly, it's beyond me. We really are glad that y'all are taking this under consideration for the second time, and we hope that that Harris Center and their CEO again works in good faith with the union over this policy. And thank you so much, and I'm willing to take any questions.
Judge. So,
Commissioner
Ms. Osbase, I've gone to 2 of the meetings.
Yep.
Is there anything else? I made calls, went out and participated in a press conference. Is there anything else specifically you'd like for us to do? I've talked to my board members.
Yep.
Obviously, they are independent, but they do represent us. But is there anything else that we can do?
I think just instructing the CEO to enter into good faith negotiations and conversations with the union, and that every piece of the policy in which we put forward to them, if there's an issue, let's have a conversation and negotiate those things out. But that's not what has happened. We were told 48 hours before they put a new policy in front of us, which isn't driven by employees or the employees' wishes. And quite frankly, it was frustrating to the employees on the ground who have been working for over a year to establish and get to establish their union. And so what we hope, just as the Commissioner's Court, is that you pass this resolution and that you instruct the CEO to work in good faith with the union and the employees in which want their union.
As I recall, at least for my involvement with this issue, sometime over a year ago, you asked for a meeting and a group of your employees came in with you to air some of their grievances, and you wanted me to write a letter. And I said, well, instead of me writing a letter, why don't we put a resolution on the agenda? I think it would have the support of the court as long as it follows the law. So, you know, if there's something else that you want members of the court to do, obviously a quorum of us couldn't show up, but I've gone over twice, so just let us know and let my colleagues know.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Can we hear? I think there's one more speaker from the labor union, correct? Jennifer Padilla, did she already speak? You still have to speak. So I'd love to hear from you, and then I would really appreciate if you don't mind, maybe Mr. Osoves can come back, or I just want to understand from Wayne Young what the issue is, and then have you guys, whoever is relevant, you all decide, help, because this is a venue to clear miscommunications, and we're not going to work it out here probably, but I'm hoping that we can get to a spot where we can say, you guys work on this discrete issue together, because I'm echoing what Commissioner Ellis has said. I feel that I've had productive conversation with you guys and productive conversations with Mr. Young, and I'm surprised, obviously disappointed to hear that there's still a big issue.
I agree, Judge. I would hope that however the conversations happen here, that those are carried out when we actually speak outside of here, because I think we're getting all different communications, and we're just in the same spot we were in over a year ago and haven't made any movement. And so I would really appreciate if we could have an agreement of, can we sit down in good faith with each other over the consultation policy in which the employees have put before the Harris Center leadership.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll hear from Ms. Padilla, and then I want to believe, and I certainly believe the Harris Center is operating in good faith too. And I'm imagining, Mr. Osoves, there's some sort of miscommunication here. I'm hoping that's the case. So let's just give an opportunity for both sides. But I hear what you're saying.
I agree.
So Ms. Padilla, if you wouldn't mind speaking, Tiffany, let me know if there's anybody else on this item. And in the meantime, if folks could please make sure that Mr. Young is on the line.
Hello, good morning. I just want to first of all say thank y'all for the support that y'all have already committed to us so far. We really do appreciate it. I guess I'll just kind of talk more about what this means to us. So I work on the crisis line. I've worked here for about 2 years. And the reason why we really just want to have a sit down with our director is because, most of the time they don't know the reality of the things that we go through and, the clients, what they need. So I know, especially with the crisis line, our workload has been increased tremendously over the 2 years that I've been there. So that contributes to this revolving door that we have where we get new hires, right? They stay here for a couple months. They see the work that we're having to do, the increase coming in, and then they leave. So sustainability is really one for us. We want to be able to voice the reality of the nature.
Thank you. Your time is up.
You can continue.
Yeah, we just want to be able to voice the reality of the nature of the job so that they can understand what our clients need and what we need to in turn give them better services. That's really what it is. We just want to be able to deliver the best services that we can. Now with the communication issues, I'm not sure where that's coming from. We have all voiced that this is for the good, it's to retain employees, to give better care, to give ourselves dignity, of course. So we're just unsure, and we hope that this resolution, that y'all will vote for it, and this will get passed so we can start voicing. Yes.
Yes, Commissioner Briannes, and then Commissioner Ellis.
Well, thank you, Ms. Padilla, for being here. Mr. Osoves, I had my hands up when you were speaking as well. Thank you for your leadership, everything you do around the country. I know we've spoken, our team has spoken, and we've met. There's serious safety concerns that are weighing heavily on all of us. And I've talked to and met in person and talked with Director Young, and we've reached out to board members. This is of paramount importance, and know we stand in solidarity. I think at this point it seems, and I have we've reached out to our county attorney's office, that an independent third-party mediator that's selected unanimously by both parties, because we have to move. I've made it very clear, we must get to yes, and they must negotiate in good faith. And so I would love to be as involved as the law permits, and my team and I will keep leaning in, keep making that message crystal clear, because we stand in solidarity, and I appreciate you taking the time to come, as well as the other speakers.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
And we appreciate you, and thank you for your persistence and your patience.
Of course.
Commissioner Ellis.
I just want to thank you for your leadership as well. I know working that 2 years is not the easiest thing to do. And,
Yeah.
you know, obviously you're a very independent young person. And I'm sure you have supportive parents, not those like me. I'd be worried, oh, what about your job? But it says a lot about you. And I'm very proud of you. We all are. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And sure, we try not to do applause, but I do. I can't imagine that she's much younger than I was when I took office at 27 years old. So I do want to express that no matter your age, I think everyone's doing a great job, and you can do whatever you want at whatever age. So it just that struck a little bit of a nerve. So let me call up Mr. Young if he's available.
Judge, we also have one more speaker for this item.
Oh,
you
okay, we'll hear from them. Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Skawana Smith.
How do we say it? Skawana, Sechuana?
Shawana. Yes. Let me say thank you. I love your new arena, but for the old people, these steps. Okay. So let me go on. I'm going to speak on this because if the employees are asking for a union-free retaliation or intimidation, I truly can understand. I'm not an employee, but I have been through hell with Harris County, and I'm a chaplain, and I don't curse, but this has been a nightmare. I have a situation here, an open records request. Imagine somebody is prosecuting you, and you find out there is no case. That's where we are right now. Nobody's speaking, nobody's talking. And today I'm here to ask you to release my property. You have no constitutional right to hold on to it, and I want it released because it's still a form of retaliation. Thank you.
Ma'am, what is it that you want released?
My property.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm not sure if you all getting all the information, especially you. Things I've been sitting in, showing proof of evidence. This is your own Precinct 4, Precinct 5, also the commissioners that are involved and judges that are involved to help this person intimidate and impersonate me in mortgage companies to steal property. And somehow he's tied up with Harris County, where he's working with the county. Mike Sullivan is one of the county people he works with to transfer titles over. If there was a problem with you guys, I feel you should reach out to the residents. We are to know what's happening.
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'll be sure we circle back with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Young.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. I believe we have to have your camera for the...
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I didn't click it on there. I apologize.
Thank you. Go ahead. And Mr. Young, I think you've heard some of the concerns, so to the extent that you can most directly address, from your perspective and also where you think there may be some daylight.
Yes, ma'am. So I've not had the opportunity to hear the concerns that were presented today. I logged on just a couple of minutes ago, so I caught just the very last comment or two, and really more comments from the court. So I don't know specifically what was said. I'm
let
happy
me bring up Mr. Osebes, if that's okay. And can you just very briefly outline the key point 1, 2, 3, whatever issues you guys have right now?
Yes. So currently, you have met with the union and their organizing committee, I think, twice over the last 6 months. Our policy has not been discussed, nor has it been like seriously. We haven't had any real back and forth. And then I think, about 3 weeks ago, you then pushed a policy that, quite frankly, didn't resemble anything that was in the current consultation policy, and we were told that our policy was permanently tabled. And so we met 2 times on our policy. There were no real discussions around the pieces of the policy that y'all had issues with, and then we get told 48 hours before I think you met that our policy would be permanently tabled by the governance committee, and then a new policy was then put before the board that was, quite frankly, a management-driven policy and had no real input or discussion on our policy before that was passed. And so that is pretty much our issue.
And then, so just so I'm clear, so one of the concerns is you guys haven't met very much, just met twice over the last 6 months.
I think it's twice with the
or something around that, and you haven't had a chance to really get into what was in the pieces of your policy, the labor policy, can I call it that?
Please.
That management had issues with. And then you're saying that about 3 weeks ago, instead, the Harris Center leadership presented a management-driven consultation policy and said that the labor union policy had been permanently tabled. And that took you guys by surprise. Does that sound right?
Very much so.
Okay, yeah, so Mr. Young, what do you think here?
Yes, ma'am. So just as a quick reflection back, I know that in January at the board meeting, representatives from communication workers presented a draft policy to the board. The governance committee is where all policies are reviewed and considered. The governance committee didn't meet in February because it had to adopt our external audit. And so it had to be the audit committee rather than governance. So governance met in March and met in April and met in May. It considered the collaboration policy, I think, at that March meeting, which was the first opportunity. They asked in April for more discussion about expanding the possibility of having more voices than just those who had expressed some interest in belonging to CWA, and directed me to bring back a broader sense of how to engage more voices in the organization, ensure those voices were heard. All of that happened in open public meeting. And then in May, the board had asked me, and so I will, challenge isn't the right thing. I will perhaps recharacterize that policy as the policy that the board had, that aligned with what the board's requests and suggestions had been, because it's not my place to try and draft their policy, but to try and capture what they have indicated they would like in a policy and provide that to them. So in May, that policy that kind of tried to encapsulate and capture their feedback and direction to me was presented to them for consideration. So that's kind of the timeline. We have met, you're right, twice. Once at the request of your group, once at my request. I requested a third meeting, and that request was declined and indicated that unless there was a discussion about substituting the collaboration policy for the policy that the board had considered, and I don't know who it was, it's a generic email address, but whoever responded in that generic email address said there was no reason to meet. And so the third meeting request was declined. So that's in terms of the meetings. That's you. I know that CWA has been having conversations and engaging in activity, but that pre stuff I wasn't involved or engaged in that. They didn't reach out to me or attempt to have a conversation with me. So I can't speak to kind of that length of time. So it doesn't strike me that 3 months is that long of a time for a conversation around such a substantial policy. But it wasn't passed in this meeting because there was multiple requests for it to be tabled. So it was tabled. That's why I think the board was hesitant about tabling it, because they had heard a need for urgency and a sense of action. But out of respect for the dialogue and continued dialogue, they did table that so there could be more discussion. And Judge, I understand. I have the same understanding you do. I think there are some individuals who are trying to foster a conversation between the groups to see where we might be able to find common ground.
Judge.
Yes, Commissioner Ellis.
So a couple of questions. One, Mr. Young, are your meetings online?
They are not online right now, sir.
Do you know if your counterparts put their meetings online? Like Austin?
I do know. I don't believe any of the. I'm not sure. I shouldn't respond. I know there are many community health centers that do not. I can't say if any do or not.
Do you know, Mr. Ospace? Are they online in Austin?
I'm not sure about that, Commissioner.
I'd like for y'all to try to. I went to your meeting because they're not online. I didn't want to rely on my staff member who goes periodically, just giving me the notes. I want to watch it myself because it wasn't online. I went. Mr. Ospace, is the policy you were proposing the Austin policy?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Young, I called you, and when we chatted, and you told me there was a separate policy coming up in these 48 hours, and I suggested to you, well, maybe just put both of them on the agenda. I think I hear you saying you don't control the agenda. Did you mention to the chair that at least that was a suggestion? Just put them both up and let the board members decide.
Yes, sir. I did mention that request to the chair and to the chair of the governance committee. I passed that request along.
So it's sort of like here, unlike when I was in the legislature, sometimes you could kill something through committee. But the way it works here, any member of commissioners court can put anything on the agenda. So at least you got to vote it down. You know, it didn't die a quiet death. Is it your understanding that the policy Mr. Ospace was proposing was essentially the Austin policy, Travis County policy?
That's my understanding. I will say that policy was on the agenda in March, and the board did consider it and tabled that requested policy. And just for clarity, I'm not trying to get into semantics with you. Just
okay. I just assume on a board like this, where they're all committed people, obviously
they are.
They're volunteering. They may have other things they have to do, family responsibilities, job responsibilities. So to a great extent, when you're on a board like that, you do tend to rely on the staff of the entity and the executive director to a great extent to form your opinions. They don't make the decision for you, but you do rely on them to help you formulate what your decision is. Is that your sense of how boards like this work?
It is often the case. I will say in this context and in this issue in particular, CWA made it very clear that they were approaching the board and they were asking the board to consider a policy decision. And, you know, it's not lost on me that the way governance works is that the board sets policy and my job is to implement that policy. And so I've tried really hard to help facilitate that and not detract or add to, but allow the board to work through their process and to help facilitate their decision making and support them in their requests. So I think where we are isn't so much a function of leadership or management, managing or massaging the process, but the board working through that process as diligently as they can, to your point, as an all volunteer board who, you know, gets paid sometimes with a Jason's Deli sandwich if their meeting goes through lunch, right? That's kind of the extent of their.
I want to stress the process in particular because I think on a board like this, sometimes one can use a committee structure to stifle a discussion. I think I mentioned you when I looked at the policy, I did suggest a minor change and told Mr. Ospace. I think the item I saw was a monthly meeting with the CEO, and I said, "Now that's a bit much. You all nice folks, and I tend to agree with you, but I don't want to meet with you every month and you tell me we want more pay, we want more time off, the things that are important for your members." And I brought up the issue of maybe a virtual meeting when you do it, but it would be good. At least I think I said if you met with the CEO once a year, twice a year, so you know you're going to the top, and it fosters that dialogue. Because to a great extent, I think it probably is, whether we like it or not, the CEO has quite a bit of influence on what members of the board ultimately decide, because that's where a lot of the information flows from.
Yes,
Commissioner, I will point out that the policy that the board has, the most recent one that was tabled in last month's meeting, it called for an every other month meeting with the CEO or a designee if needed. And so the characterization of our meetings never having heard concerns, I walked through with multiple members of CWA in an hour-long meeting. They had 5 key points associated with their policy, and I walked through each of those trying to understand them and frankly trying to look for some common ground. That meeting was one example of that, where they had proposed a structure of 5 executives and that just seemed like a lot to me. And so I just said, whoever you would invite and me, we'll sit down once every other month. Their policy called for lots of like votings and I believe part of the legal concerns that y'all have heard about is in this area of collective bargaining, where the Attorney General opinion reflects on this as a unilateral presentation of concerns rather than a bilateral negotiation. And so I tried to honor that intent and hear their concerns. Not everything that was in that collaboration policy was captured in the board's policy, but there were certainly components of it that were captured, reflected in that policy, and I think responded to favorably from the board. But the meeting with me was certainly one of those, as well as being able to represent employees at grievance requests or termination appeals. We have an appeal process where employees can, if they're terminated, request that be reviewed and reconsidered.
Mr. Young, I just feel like we're going a little bit in circles just off of what you said, Commissioner, and then I know Commissioner Briones has a point to make, and I just want to comment on this, which is, it sounds to me like this consultation policy is not sort of totally out there, out of the ordinary. That is, in fact, I know that in Texas, I mean, this is almost a guideline because it's not enforceable. It's not like you guys can go on strike. And so if it were that, Wayne, perhaps I would understand, there has to be so many rounds and the board has to drop their own. But I'm just wondering, based on the conversation you're having with Commissioner Ellis, couldn't the CWA sit with the board and just iron out what differences they have, and if they don't have the time, then let you sit with them and iron out the differences, since you are not a volunteer employee. And so just have somebody be able to put pen to paper in the same room together. And if that doesn't work, then at the next meeting, I think you guys can bring wherever there's daylight. And of course, we don't direct Mr. Young, the board does, but we do appoint the board members. Right. And at that point, we can figure out if we need a facilitator or whatnot. But I think that the simple step that hasn't taken place is the discussion that you guys were beginning to have here, which of course, we don't really have time for.
Judge, can I just add one?
Yeah.
And I think we got to stop using this word. This is not a collective bargaining agreement. That is not. And
consultation.
And this is a consultation policy. And Mr. Wayne, we shouldn't use that language because that's not what this is. What ends up happening when you use that language, then it gets conflated with what is illegal, which we know public sector employees cannot have a collective bargaining agreement in Texas. We all know that. This is not that. This is a consultation policy that is used throughout the state for employees who are public sector employees or quasi-public sector employees. And so I just want to make that clear, because sometimes when that word's used, it's a buzzword for folks to say, "Oh, this is illegal," and it's not.
Yes. So I would let you guys think about that, Wayne. Is that something you'd be willing to do?
Yes, I'm happy to meet with them. Like I said, I think there's already a meeting that's in process of trying to be scheduled.
Yeah, but the point is for you guys to work out a agreement at that meeting and present that agreement to the board, right? Not for you to meet with him and then the board to come up with something else. And so that's why I said, if you don't have the authority to do that, then would you help us? And I think all of us are happy to help. Certainly I am, ask which board member will meet with him, and if they're too busy, then they can deputize you to meet with him or whoever he'd like to meet with. You see what I'm saying?
I do, and we contemplated that, and their direction was that they were happy for me to be a part of those conversations and facilitate those. They did request that I try and have those conversations based on improving or updating the policy that they had already considered rather than reflecting back on the collaboration policy. So that's where I don't have the authority to just default and go to the collaboration policy based on the board's direction of me.
So I want to make sure you're saying that the problem here is the board, because if that's the issue, at least for those of us who put people on the board, ought to be aware of that, because when I talk to board members, they point to you.
Yeah.
And then when I talk to you, you point to them. So at some point, it's just uncommon for us to have to pass a resolution twice. I didn't need to read it because it says the same thing the one said a year ago.
I would request to the board members, and it sounds like Commissioner Ellis already said this, so I'm echoing that. If to the board members, that certainly he and I appoint, and Commissioner Briones will speak in a moment, that they sit with these folks based off of what they presented and work on a resolution. And if there isn't one, then whether it's Wayne or the relevant representative, come to the next court and let us see if we have any feedback, or otherwise, we'll go from there. So that would be my ask, Wayne, and to the board members. Commissioner Briones.
So I echo Commissioner Ellis's question. I wanted to hear your answer to that, number one. But number two, I know we've met in person, we've spoken multiple times, Mr. Young. Again, this is of paramount importance to the majority of Commissioners Court, that we find a path forward in good faith that protects and honors our workers, period. Do we have your commitment that you and the board will work in good faith alongside CWA and our Harris Center workers?
Yeah,
Do we have your commitment?
The only yes is the answer, and I worry that somehow implies that hasn't been happening, and I don't think that's the case.
But to Commissioner Ellis's question, this bifurcation between the board and the CEO, and we all understand governance structures. This is a both and here, so that we can break down the silos or the finger pointing, so that there's greater progress and greater transparency. I'm sure you all can facilitate a group good faith discussion to make substantial progress. Do we have your commitment on that, please?
Absolutely. I'm happy to have a good faith discussion and find progress wherever it can be found.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. So I think that's good. I certainly don't mean Mr. Wayne Young or any of the boards to imply bad faith of anybody, really. I think that, we're going somewhere, we're moving forward now. Let's start from there. Let's not think about whatever frustrations or resentment either side might have for whatever perceptions, and let's just assume that everybody is operating in good faith, because I think everybody involved are people of good character, and let's see how we can move this forward. Okay.
But if I can just make one more comment just along those lines, I think it is important to point out that the board has passed 2 resolutions supporting and encouraging employees to form and join a union, and asserting that can be done without fear of retaliation or any kind of reprisal. So I just want that to be out there, that the board does support the union's right to organize and want to make sure employees are aware of that. So in case that wasn't aware of that from the court, I wanted to put that out there.
No, that's good to know. And I think that the issue is, it's like, how does the union need, what exact support they need, and it's the discussion on this particular potential agreement. And so I think that's something that you guys can definitely work on, but I certainly didn't know about the resolution, so that's great. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll work on and follow Commissioner Ellis's lead on an agenda next court, but certainly I think that you guys can get somewhere. I really do.
I do too, Judge, and I'm glad to hear that the CEO said that the board did pass it. So this shouldn't be hard. Then my expectation is that this should be fairly easy, working through the consultation policy that the union has presented.
Mr. Young and Mr. Ospace, just put it on a time schedule. I wanted to go through that background. Mr. Ospace came in over a year ago with some employees who raised some concerns and wanted me to write a letter. And I said, I'll put a resolution on the agenda. Exactly. But it's been over a year. I'd like you to have some timetable and operate it. Look, you never have to wonder what I'm saying when you talk to me. I'm pretty blunt. And if it hurts somebody's feelings, I'm sorry. At least you know what I was saying. But I just think you all ought to get in a room, sort it out, figure it out, and just move beyond it. Yeah. Unions have very little power in Texas. It's not collective bargaining. Yeah. It's consultation.
Exactly.
That's all it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for working together.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Any other resolutions, Commissioner Ellis?
No.
So I have a note here from Commissioner Garcia for me to take up the speakers on his two resolutions. So the first resolution is item 6, which is to approve a resolution recognizing June 15, 2024 as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And he requested that I not read the resolution, but I'll defer to his team, you guys, if I'm misinterpreting anything. So let's take the speakers for item 6, the resolution honoring World Elder Abuse Awareness Day.
First is Joel Levine. You have 1 minute.
Good morning, Judge Hidalgo, members of Commissioners Court. Joel Levine, Executive Director, Department Head, Harris County Resources for Children and Adults. With me today is Tara Hinton, our Deputy Division Director for our Adult Services Division, and Shelby Bridges, our Manager of our Senior Justice Assessment Center. And I'd like to thank Commissioner Garcia, Commissioners Court, for this resolution to recognize June 15th as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Harris County Resources for Children and Adults provide services to the vulnerable adults and senior victims of abuse, neglect, and exploitation through our guardianship program and our Senior Justice Assessment Center program. We, as you know, are an aging population. By the year 2034, there will be more people in the United States over the age of 65 than children under the age of 18. Sadly, we know that elderly people are more vulnerable to violent crimes due to weaker physical health and reduced mental capacity. Often the perpetrator is related to the victim or is someone responsible for caring for them. Last year, our Senior Justice Assessment Center served 437 senior victims of crime. The collaboration with our partners led to successful convictions and safer outcomes for our seniors. This month and throughout the year, it is important that we stay involved in the lives of the seniors that we care about. Let's all do our part to make Harris County a safer place to grow old. And we invite you to next Friday, the 14th, we are going to have a press conference for World Elder Abuse Awareness Day at the Leonel Castillo Community Center on Friday the 14th at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you all so much, and I certainly hope to be able to join you guys. I think I've shared this with Mr. Levine, but my grandparents, when they were much younger, their commitment, their volunteerism all went to this cause. And so growing up, I would hear stories of these grandparents, great-grandparents, whose children or grandchildren would just mistreat them. And so they'd end up at these homes, and I think not enough people know about that. So thank you. The second resolution is...
Oh, there's more speakers, Judge.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tiffany.
Next is Tammy Mermelstein.
She's making her way.
Good morning. I'm Tammy Mermelstein, and I'm the chair for the Region 6 Adult Protective Services Advisory Board and the executive director at CARE. First, thank you for recognizing World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Too many vulnerable adults suffer in silence, and shedding light on elder abuse through public discourse, such as today's proclamation, is key to preventing their suffering. No older adult or person living with a disability should experience physical, emotional, or financial abuse or neglect. Each precinct has an active seniors program, and there's so much more as a community we can and should be doing. Just our 60-plus population here in Harris County is 18% bigger than El Paso, Texas' sixth largest city. More older adults live alone, and community connection is key to healthy aging. When we remind vulnerable people that they matter to our community, it removes abuses, stigma, and fear. Sunlight really can be the best disinfectant. I encourage you to take time to learn more about your own population, because wouldn't it be great if we didn't need this proclamation?
Thank you so much.
Christina Rector, you have 1 minute.
Good morning, Commissioner Court. I'm Christina Rector. I'm the Houston District Director for Adult Protective Services. Thank you for recognizing Elder Abuse Awareness. Thank you for supporting APS as we work alongside our critical partners like the Harris County Sheriff Department, the Senior Justice Assessment Center, Harris County Area Agency on Aging, and the Harris Center. APS works to protect the most vulnerable adults and adults with disability from abuse, neglect, and financial exploitation. We know together, with our clients, families, and community partners, we're able to help so many Texans have a healthier, safe life with their dignity intact. Building strong support for elders is what we have done with our successful collaborations. APS cannot do this work alone, and our partnership help us to restore dignity to the lives of older adults who experience abuse, neglect, and exploitation. APS, working alongside Harris County Sheriff Department, has assisted with unpermitted boarding home shutdowns and found safer living environments for vulnerable clients.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Working alongside.
Continue.
Okay, working alongside SJAC has helped us fight for justice for our older clients. Working alongside the AAA has helped us find wraparound services for our clients. The Harris Center has helped us find critical placements for disabled adults needing secure placements that meet their needs. Thank you for your continued partnership with Adult Protective Services to bring awareness to elder abuse, neglect, and exploitation. As a community, we can continue to work together to make sure older adults and disabled adults have safe communities to live in and thrive and make a contribution to our community. Adult Protective Services received 16,753 intake just for Harris County last year.
Ms. Rector, thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Within the context of the faith-based community I participate in, I work with probably 4 or 5 different groups, and I can tell you that fear is the biggest issue they have. It may be health-related, it may be finance-related, it may be storm-related, but the biggest thing they need is someone they can call when they don't have anybody else to call. So I know in a lot of cases you're that entity, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. And alongside me is Daniel Burnell and Eunice. They're my faith-based community engagement specialists for the community.
Do you have like an example of the kind of thing that happens? Because I think it's often, you think of certain things, the loneliness and whatnot, but I think what a lot of people don't know is the actual physical abuse that a lot of these elderly people go through, or, beyond the loneliness and whatnot.
Right, Judge. And thinking about the weather as we're going into the hot summer months, some of the biggest cases we receive are physical neglect cases, because we know that the economy, that the seniors are on fixed income. As the food costs rises and energy costs rise, sometimes we have to go in and assist them with paying those bills so they can have be able to run the electricity during the summer months and even in the winter months. And also, one of our biggest community issue we have is unpermitted boarding homes. And I thank the Commissioner Court for signing off on the MOU for Adult Protective Services and the Sheriff Department to work together to shut down those boarding homes where we see abuse, neglect, and exploitation in those.
Thank you for helping explain to the community and to my colleagues for recognizing this issue.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
The final resolution out of order by Commissioner Garcia is for approval of a resolution in support of Houston area janitors in their fight for better wages and better working conditions. And I know we have some speakers here.
Elsa Flores, you have 1 minute.
While they're getting here, let me just say thank you very much for doing this today. I want to just thank all of the Commissioners Court and Commissioner Garcia for putting this forward. I think I have everybody here. This is the Houston Janitors. This is our first time here in Commissioners Court. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Elsa Flores. I'm the president of SEIU Texas, and I represent janitors from across the county. We are proud to celebrate the anniversary of Justice for Janitors Day and the strikes in Century City with an important moment for janitors here in Houston. As many of you know, we just won a historic new contract for janitors we represent, including the largest increase on their wages since the creation of this union or their organizing efforts. Many of our janitors will be moving now to a minimum of $15 an hour, with part-time janitors moving closer to that goal at a minimum of $14 an hour. The Harris County Commissioners have now a chance. Thank you. Has now a chance to go even farther by also moving janitors to a minimum of $15 an hour. I encourage that. That's just a huge step forward. And I'd like to also do my comments in Spanish, if that's okay. Mi nombre es Elsa.
Just a moment. I want to make sure it's allowed without an interpreter.
I mean, I think it's related to resolution.
It's okay. Okay, go ahead.
Ok, gracias. Mi nombre es Elsa Flores, soy la presidente del sindicato de SIU en Texas. Representamos a los trabajadores de limpieza de Harris County. Estamos sumamente orgullosos de celebrar el aniversario de justicia para los trabajadores de limpieza y la huelga de Century City, que fue la que inició este trabajo y nos da... Este es un día muy importante también para los trabajadores de Houston. Como ustedes ya saben, hace poco pudimos llegar a un acuerdo de contrato que lleva a la mayoría de los trabajadores a $15 de la hora como su salario mínimo y a muchos que están trabajando no de tiempo completo a $14. Esto es algo que nos hace sumamente orgullosos, pero también estoy aquí muy orgullosa de ver que aquí en Harris County ustedes están ahorita a punto también de tomar ese paso y llevar a muchos de esos trabajadores a un mínimo de $15 la hora. Muchísimas gracias.
Gracias. Yes, Commissioner Briones and then Commissioner Ellis.
President Flores and team, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Congratulations on the most recent deal. Thank you for your leadership. Know that we stand in solidarity. Thank you for coming to meet with us and for allowing my team to be a part of the delegation. And I cannot wait to vote in favor of Commissioner Ellis's item. Thank you for putting it on, Commissioner, so that we can be sure we've passed the $15 an hour for Harris County team members, but in terms of our contract labor, temporary labor, we need to walk the walk. So I will proudly vote in favor of it, and thank you for your leadership, and we honor you and have nothing but respect and appreciation. So
thank you.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you, Commissioner Ellis.
Madam President, I want to congratulate you. Well, I know it's tough, and I can remember some years ago when we were out by the Galleria. I thought it was just an easy little walk on the sidewalk. And then you and Risha Thomas decided to go in the middle of the street. And I thought we were going to get arrested. I was out there with Congressman Al Green. That might have been 7 years ago. He's come a long way since then. He beat me to it. He went to your march the other day. Yes. But he thought I'd be afraid of getting arrested this go around. But, hey, it's a really big deal. And thank you for coming to the press conference earlier today and supporting that item. It is amazing that what all you all have done. There were some buildings where the county would subcontract, and I'm told that people were paying as little as $10 an hour. So this will drive that up. And under that item that will come up later, we also put a policy in place where the county manager and her team will come up with a way of not making that $15 a floor. On the federal level, I know it's still stuck at $7-something an hour. It's difficult to come back and adjust it every year, so we ought to do that based on what Travis County, the city of Dallas do, Dallas County as an example, on some metrics that make sense. But thank you for coming and speaking for Spanish at the press conference earlier today.
Anytime. I just want to say I am so proud. At the table, just really quick, we kept hearing that we couldn't get to the $15. Houston the market is not going to accept that. Harris County is not there. And I am so proud. I was proud to say, yeah, Houston has come a long way and we have changed and Houston is different. Every time they kept saying Houston is different, I kept saying, yeah, Houston is different. We have come a long way. And you guys have just made me not a liar because Harris County is doing it now. So thank you.
Well, you made us better. And thank you so much. And your workers. So thanks. Good job. Bravo.
Thank you all so much. Gracias. Felicidades. We picked the color of the day, purple. I think a lot of my staff members happen to be wearing purple as well. But congratulations, you guys. And there was just a report this weekend on how much the price of housing has gone up, much more than the wages. So it's very timely. Commissioner Ramsey, I don't see any resolutions out of order on your agenda. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Commissioner Briones.
Thank you, Judge Hidalgo. I have 2 resolutions today. First, it's item 8, celebrating the Precinct 4 Liberty Fest. If I could please invite Southwest Management District Board Member David Peters and Dawn Lynn, another Southwest Management District Board Member, and Annie Trin and Jillian Thomas, if you could please come join us as well. We are so happy to have you and to be celebrating the 5th annual Liberty Fest in Sharpstown. We know it is one of the most diverse areas in this region and in this country, and that we are so proud to have numerous business districts, including Chinatown, Asia Wall Street, the Gandhi District, and we have, over 60 languages spoken. And thank you for your leadership in making sure we're celebrating the beautiful independence of the United States of America and bringing all of our cultures together as you celebrate Liberty Fest. So my family and I have gone multiple years. We will be there, and we invite everyone in the audience and who's listening on June 30th to join us. It will be in the parking lot of Plaza Americas. So with that, thank you for your leadership and service to our community and for everything you do to drive the Sharpstown area forward.
Thank you, Commissioner. We're honored to be here today, celebrating July 4th, 4th celebration. I'm sorry, I'm nervous.
Oh, no.
But anyways,
thank you, Mr. Peters.
Thank you for having us here and recognizing our celebration, Liberty Fest. So it's our 5th year, and I really appreciate that County Court has, recognized this day for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peters.
If
Hi,
I
Ms.
may,
Lynn.
I want to take this opportunity to thank Brianna's Court being, not only participating, but also gave us the most needed equipments, cooling buses, and also fancy portable party trailers, right? That is, and then of course, this year is our 5th year, and we grow in numbers. We are expecting more than 15,000 participants, and we invite Judge, all the commissioners, please come join us June 30th, starting at 4, ending at 9. And last year, Brianna was there at the countdown, so we invite everybody join us at this wonderful countdown, 9 p.m., June 30th. At Plaza Americana. Thank you so much for all the supports.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Lynn. And my team and I are happy to support in every way we can. We're all in. And I'd also like to acknowledge Alice Lee, my phenomenal chief of staff, who has helped lead the Southwest Management District amongst many, many organizations. So thank you, Alice. Thank you all so much. I will see you on June 30th.
May I get your name for the record, please?
Oh, go ahead.
Could you all state your names for the record, please?
David Peters.
Dawn Lynn, both of us are all board members with Southwest Management District. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our staff, Annie Trin and Jillian.
Thank you.
Thank you
guys
so very much for being here. Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
So my second and final resolution. Before I begin, I would like to invite up numerous community leaders who I'm so proud to have here today. Tammy Wallace, she, her, president of the Greater Houston LGBTQ+ Chamber of Commerce. Atlantis Narcisse, she, her, CEO and founder of Save Our Sisters United and director of programs for TENT, Transgender Education Network of Texas. Ian Haddock, he, they, founder and executive director of the Normal Anomaly Initiative, Inc. Brad Pritchett, he, him, deputy director of Equality Texas. Portia Brown, she, her, vice president of the caucus. And we also have Joelle Esput, program director from the Normal Anomaly Initiative. Jonathan Barnett, he, him, program coordinator for the Normal Anomaly Initiative. Rochelle Washington, she, her, senior program manager for the Normal Anomaly Initiative. Flawless, she, her, the Normal Anomaly. And we have Ray Purser, Ryan Wilson, you're all welcome. to join us up front. And I'm also very proud to recognize one of my phenomenal team members, Austin Ruiz, who helps lead our community engagement, and he's also president of our caucus. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are proud to be celebrating Pride this month of June and every day, 365 days a year. I'm going to read parts of this resolution because I think it's critical that we remember the history as we look to the present, where we are in the state of Texas nationally, but more importantly here in Harris County, and then where we're going from here. So first, the history. Whereas the origins of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual LGBTQIA+ Pride Month began on June 28th, 1969, when police raided the Stonewall Inn, a popular gay bar in New York City, harassing and arresting LGBTQIA+ patrons, which led to a non-consecutive 6-day uprising led by activist community members and neighborhood residents. Whereas Marsha P. Johnson, a Black activist and transgender woman, is widely credited as starting the Stonewall Rebellion, which was the result of years of LGBTQIA+ activism, as well as raids of LGBTQIA+ gathering spaces by police. Whereas activists in the Houston and Harris County area have long been engaged in the fight for LGBTQIA rights in the United States. And whereas in 1975, the Houston LGBTQ+ political caucus, our caucus, the caucus, was founded in Harris County, making it the oldest LGBTQIA+ civil rights organization in the South. And the caucus continues to advocate for and advance the rights of our LGBTQIA+ community. And I am a proud member and always will be. Whereas after coming together to protest an anti-LGBTQIA+ activist visit to Harris County, the caucus held the first politically oriented meeting of LGBTQIA+ community members in the United States, known as Town Meeting 1. Culminating in the creation of several community services organizations, including the Montrose Center and the Montrose Clinic, now known as Legacy Community Health. And whereas in 2016, the Greater Houston LGBTQ+ Chamber of Commerce was launched, which helps connect and empower LGBTQIA+ businesses, both those that are owned and allied, who are supporting the community, and they have mobilized our business community, and that is run by the wonderful Tammy Wallace. Thank you, Tammy, for being here. And in 2023, my team and I were proud to put an item on this agenda to create Harris County's first LGBTQ+ commission, a first for Harris County. And many community leaders, including some of you, are on this commission helping to provide actionable ideas how we can continue to advance justice here in Harris County. And we know last year in 2023 in the United States, there was over 400 pieces of hateful legislation introduced. And we know that here in Texas, and Brad Pritchett, thank you for what you and your Equality Texas team do. We had over 140 pieces of legislation here in the state of Texas. And we can go on and on with those numbers. We know that per the Trevor Project, that one of our LGBTQIA+ youth, age 13 to 24, one attempts suicide every 45 seconds. Unacceptable. And I could go on and on. And here in Harris County, we are a place of resistance and progress. Here in Harris County, we proudly stand in solidarity, not just today, not just in June, but always. And we are here to advance equality and inclusion in Harris County. And as a mother of 3 little kids, I want them to be able to grow up where they can be their full, authentic selves. And I'll be damned if Texas and the rest of the country is moving in the wrong direction. We need to learn from history, not relive it. And so it gives me great pride to be this year's Ally Grand Marshal. Thank you for that opportunity. It gives me pride to learn and be a part of this Harris County community, because I hope that one day Texas will be like Harris County. But until then, we're going to continue to fight and drive progress in every which way we can. So today, Harris County Commissioners Court is proud to celebrate LGBTQIA+ Pride Month. So thank you for being here. Thank you for helping us to drive progress and be the model of what equality needs to be. And I know there's various guests. And then lastly, while the guests come up, I want to invite you and I want to thank the Chamber, because thanks to the Chamber, we have a Show Your Pride event happening from 12 to 2 today in this building on the 9th floor. So you can take a picture. It's a Show Your Pride event because, again, we're here to celebrate and make sure that we are honoring today and always. So please join us from 12 to 2, and thank you to the Chamber for helping to make that happen here at Harris County Commissioners Court building. So Tiffany, could you please call the speakers who have signed up? Thank you, Tiffany.
Tammy Wallace.
My name is Tammy Wallace, and my pronouns are she, her. I am a co-founder, president, and CEO of the Greater Houston LGBTQ+ Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of our almost 500 members, thank you, Commissioner Briones and Commissioners Court, for recognizing Pride Month. This resolution speaks volumes and sends a powerful message that all residents of Harris County are welcome and valued. Your recognition today not only acknowledges the vibrant contributions of the LGBTQ+ community, but also affirms that Harris County is a place where diversity and inclusion are celebrated. Pride Month is a time to reflect on the progress we've made, honor the trailblazers who fought for our rights, and acknowledge the work still yet ahead. It's a time to celebrate the rich diversity that makes our community so unique and integral to the fabric of our region and economy. Your support helps foster an environment where every individual can thrive regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. Thank you again, Commissioner Briones and Commissioners Court, for your leadership and for standing with the LGBTQ+ community.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Wallace.
Atlantis Narcisse.
Good morning and happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity to platform our issues. As one of the largest metro areas in the county, Houston is one of the most diverse cities in the U.S. This pride, and every day, organizations like SOSU and Tent fight for the diversity, the empowerment, the uplifting of the trans and gender expansive community. Harris County's Pride Festivals are so much more than love wins or y'all means all. It's a root system rooted deep in the history of Harris County. We have been the mothers of movement, the mothers of the community. We have been those who have been here and fought alongside other Houstonians. It is important that Harris County leadership invests in the prosperity of the trans community members as we face troubling times, and when I say this, attack from every existence of our being, that we stand forth and show us that this is not a me agenda, but a we agenda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Atlantis.
Ian Haddock.
Hello, I am Ian L. Haddock, founder and executive director of the Normal Anomaly Initiative. My people behind me. Observational months like this are created for both celebration and commemoration, and though these ideas seem to be mutually exclusive, they are truly comparable for Pride Month. You know, as we just discussed, Pride Month celebration is often the parade, but it started from protest, commemoration of a protest from two trans women of color. And then we see Pride Month's rainbow flag is waved in celebration of being out or being affirming, but it's a symbol that commemorates the diversity of experience, identity, and gender of our community. As this resolution goes forward, I ask that your love for us not only make you celebrate us as your constituents and community, but that you remember all of our colors and join us in the fight for equality and equity. We are your siblings, children, neighbors, and friends, and we are much more alike than different. Please support Pride
Your time is up.
In constructive ways. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ian.
Brad Pritchett.
Good morning. I'm Brad Pritchett. I'm the Deputy Director at Equality Texas. We're the state's largest LGBTQ plus advocacy org. And I also have the honor of being the chair of the Harris County LGBTQ plus Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Briones, for bringing this resolution up and for the court for supporting it. We have 254 counties in Texas, and Equality Texas is tracking about 30 Pride celebrations in 30 counties. Even fewer counties actually do what you're doing, which is take a proactive step to celebrate Pride Month in a real proactive way. So thank you for doing something that most counties aren't actually doing. Right now in Texas, we have polling data that tells us that 88% of LGBTQ plus youth say that they've been negatively impacted, their well-being and their mental health, by the current climate attacking LGBTQ rights in our state. And between 2015 and 2023, we've seen a 1,075% increase in anti-LGBTQ bills filed just in Texas. And that's insane. But resolutions like this send an important message to LGBTQ plus people that we are seen as valued and deserving of recognition, joy, and celebration. So we want to thank you for putting forth this resolution and supporting it and celebrating Pride Month. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for heading our commission, and thank you for everything you do around the state of Texas. We're grateful.
Portia Brown.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners Court. Thank you for having us today. My name is Portia Natasha Brown, and I'm the Vice President of the Houston LGBTQ Plus Political Caucus. Last year, in June, I was here and spoke in support of the creation of the Harris County's first LGBTQIA Plus Commission. Today, I'm speaking in support of a resolution recognizing Pride Month in Harris County. From last year to today, the attacks on the LGBT community have only increased, especially when it comes to attacks on the trans community, specifically on trans youth. This resolution is needed now more than ever and illustrates the importance of our allies standing with us during these challenging times. Thank you to Commissioner Briones for bringing this forth and for your allyship. And thank you all for your commitment to supporting the LGBT community. Thank you.
Thank you, Portia.
Thank you, guys.
That's all for this item.
Thank you. I just, as you guys were speaking, it was just wonderful to see you guys here. And Commissioner, thank you for this and for the event that you've planned with Tammy Wallace. But one thing that I want to make sure we all recognize is this really affects all of us, and it's a matter of freedom. And some people might say, well, you know, I'm not part of the LGBTQ plus community, so you know, I don't need to pay attention to this. And this is a conversation I personally had with President Biden, actually, at the White House around the time that the anti-abortion ruling was made by the Supreme Court. And the comment, and he's made these publicly as well, in terms of when you go back on a right that has already been recognized, and you think about marriage equality, getting overturned, and you think about all other kinds of rights that apply to every kind of person. It's not an exaggeration to say that that's on the table. Certainly the rhetoric that's being used, which has been exacerbated with the divisiveness, obviously, and how extreme certainly one of the parties has become. And so I want to acknowledge that we are already seeing our rights eliminated, that there are rights relevant to this community and rights relevant to all communities that are being attacked. And most importantly, I want to thank you guys for your bravery and commitment, because I, like all of you, I'm sure, know people who are moving out of Texas because of the attacks, the rhetoric, the real physical violence, and emotional violence. And so I understand that this is quite literally dangerous work to do, but it's important. And as we saw with the abortion fight, when the community moves, that's when you can make a difference. And now we're seeing these folks that came after our right backtracking a little bit. So we're right there with you. And it's a fight that we wish we didn't have to fight. And that's why all of us, certainly I am committed to whatever the group is. There's no reason to feed extreme rhetoric, to call people names or equate them to non-human things. And that's something that's taking place now and just leads to the most terrible, terrible outcomes. So anyway, I so appreciate you guys, appreciate the commissioner, her team, and all the colleagues who I know have long been supportive of you guys, and just let us know what more we can do.
Yes, thank you again for your leadership and service. I couldn't agree more. all of our equality, all of our rights are inextricably linked. So we are all in, as I'm a proud ally, accomplice, and I will be in this fight for years, because we must create a future where our rights are going to continue moving forward and not be taken from us. So know that Harris County, we're all in, and we want your ongoing partnership driving that progress. And together we will create the Texas and United States that our children and grandchildren deserve. So we're all in. Thank you. And again, remember 12 to 2, show your pride. Please go to the 9th floor. And we look forward to taking a photo momentarily. Thank you again.
Any other out-of-order resolutions, Commissioner? Okay, so the question is, I see the judges are here. Welcome, you guys. So the question for my colleagues is, do we take the judges and then take the pictures, or do we take the pictures and then hear from the judges?
Let the judges decide.
Yes.
To dockets.
All right, well, let's try to keep it under the time, because there are folks that also are here, and there's like a massive award that some folks won, and very worthy causes here. So we'll take the comments from our colleagues, and welcome to our new courtroom. And these are the non-agenda speakers, Tiffany, some of the non-agenda speakers, I believe.
May I begin? Yes, go ahead. Right. Good afternoon or good morning. We're still in the morning. Good morning, Judge Hidalgo and County Commissioners. My name is Shannon Baldwin. I'm the presiding judge for the Harris County Criminal Courts. My colleagues and I respectfully request Commissioners Court to reevaluate judicial compensation and consider a cost of living increase for all county court judges. County and court judges have not had a raise or cost of living increase since 2017. That is before Harvey, and even then that was 1%. Over the past decade, judicial salaries have increased by 6%, all prior to 2018. Considering inflation and rising costs, our current salaries have remained stagnant, and that is untenable. While Harris County is the 3rd largest county in the nation, judicial salaries rank 40th. Even with that low ranking, we are not asking for a raise. We are simply asking for the same cost of living increase, 7%, that went to all other county employees last year. My fellow judges will certainly speak more on this matter, and I hope that you'll give us your most serious consideration.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Juanita Jackson, Judge of Criminal Court Number 10. As my colleague mentioned, and we all know that we are the 3rd largest county in the country, yet we rank 40th for judicial salaries. You will hear from my colleagues about the many exceptional accomplishments, and although a raise is well-deserved, we are not here asking for a raise. We are simply asking for a cost of living adjustment that was given to all other county employees. As with all jobs, salaries must be competitive to recruit and retain the best talent. When good lawyers make significantly more in private practice, there is no incentive for them to become public servants. I should know, as someone who left private practice and took on a salary now earning half of what my previous income was, I did it because I chose to serve. And people called me crazy. And it's a tough call for attorneys to make, that on top of all of this, we're not allowed to compensate by working in the legal profession.
Your time is up.
We're asking to be paid commensurate to the cost of living, to the work and load that we're competitively compared to other attorneys in the DA office, the public defender's office, and attorneys for the county's commissioners.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrew A. Wright. I'm the judge of County Court at Law Number 7. As Judge Jackson said, competitive salaries are imperative, but that's not the only reason we're asking for this cost of living. Many of us are in our second terms on the bench, and we worked hard over the past 5+ years to positively impact the criminal justice system in Harris County. That starts with misdemeanor bail reform, the O'Donnell consent decree. We did that to remedy the prior bail systems that were in place before that were found unconstitutional by Judge Rosenthal and the Fifth Circuit. As part of that consent decree, we created Local Rule 9, which ensures most misdemeanor defendants are granted a non-secured personal bond with or without conditions, initially set at $100, but we have carve-outs for specific offenses or folks already on supervision to make sure that public safety is also considered. In 2021, we further updated our court notification system to make it easier to digest and get electronic notifications when people had court and when they missed court. Both projects were done in consent with a consent decree. We're just trying to move the ball forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is David Fleischer. I'm the judge in County Criminal Court at Law Number 5. What have we done? Bail reform. We are committed to what? Public safety. That's what we do. However, at the same time, what are we focused on? Ensuring that people who can't afford to be jailed, who can't afford to get out, maintain their living, and don't get fired, don't upend their livelihood just because they stay in jail. We still maintain public safety, and if you can look at the record, if you can look at all the data, it shows that public safety has not been compromised. What are we asking for? Not much. Just a cost of living raise. That's all we want. Thank you.
Good morning. May it please the court. My name is Leslie Johnson. I'm the judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 3. I want to share with you the incredible job the misdemeanor judges have done in reducing the backlog in Harris County. Since 2022, we've cleared over 126,000 cases, an average of 7,900 cases per court. Since 2022, we have cut the backlog by 66%, from about 24,000 cases per court to around 8,000 cases. Additionally, we are clearing more cases than are filed each month. Our clearance rate has trended well above 100%. It was 137% in February. Thank you for your consideration.
Greetings. I'm Judge Toria Finch, the local administrative judge for all of the Harris County courts at law, which include both criminal and civil, as well as the presiding judge for Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 9. We are making significant progress in all of our Harris County courts at law by placing a sharp focus on our best practices, good leadership decisions, as well as data-driven practices. We've attended trainings as well as conducted court assessments, developed action plans, updated our forms and practices to ensure that we are working at optimum levels. We've done this without establishing a second type of shift, a night and weekend court, which will cost more money for Harris County. That means either paying overtime for employees or adding another shift of prosecutors, bailiffs, public defenders, and so forth. We are eager to continue diligently working on the backlog. In closing, I'm asking that you honor our efforts and approve our request for a cost of living adjustment as did occur for our non-elected officials. We're also asking for the ability to provide for the necessities for our family in accordance with the pace of our growing economic status. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Erica Ramirez, and I am judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 8. You've heard from my colleagues. We've worked very hard in order to reduce the backlog, and we've done this with limited resources. Harris County is coming up on 5 million residents, and we're the third largest in the entire country. We're just behind LA, just behind Cook County. Yet, national standards for a call for a jurisdiction of this size to have 27 and a half courts. We only have 16 misdemeanor courts. We've begun the process of requesting from the legislator to create more courts, and we'll ask Commissioner's Court to fund them, but we know that this process is long and it's not guaranteed. So until new courts are created, we're going to be responsible and we're going to work hard on the work that, according to national standards, should be spread amongst 27 and a half courts. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Genesis Draper, and I humbly serve as the judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 12. In 2020, the Harris County Criminal Misdemeanor Courts established the Harris County Office of Managed Assigned Counsel, more commonly known as the MAC, to ensure indigent defendants have access to a high-quality holistic defense and to end the appearance of a pay-for-play appointment system that had existed in the past. The MAC office is the first of its kind in Harris County and one of only 5 such programs in Texas. Since its inception, the MAC has increased the number and the diversity of our list of appointed counsel. Use of investigators, social workers, mitigation specialists, and immigration consultations by appointed counsel has increased dramatically and is reflected in the representation provided. The Sixth Amendment guarantees that anyone facing criminal prosecution has the right to effective legal counsel, regardless of whether they can afford it. Appointing counsel for those who can't afford it helps ensure a fair trial by balancing the power between the government and the accused. We have taken seriously our responsibility to protect this vital part of our process. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alex Salgado. I am the judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 1. In 2022, we created the Bayou City Community Court, the community outreach and education arm for the criminal misdemeanor courts. The first program we launched under Community Court was Fresh Start. Fresh Start is a second chance program that helps people change course after experiences with the criminal justice system by sealing their eligible criminal records and connecting them to community resources. We offer it through a collaboration with the Harris County Public Defender's Office, the Harris County Community Supervision and Corrections Department, and many other justice and community partners. The program is designed for people who completed their deferred adjudication, did what they were supposed to do, paid their dues, had their cases dismissed, and thought they could move on, but then quickly found out that even a dismissed charge can haunt them, preventing them from accessing things like housing, jobs, student loans, and professional certifications. Since its inception in April 2022, we've hosted 10 events. During that time, we've helped hundreds of people get their records sealed. The program has become so popular that registration for our quarterly events often fills up. Your time is up. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tanya Jones, and I'm the presiding judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 15. In contemplating our current caseloads as well as our backlog, we created the domestic violence docket. We did this because we wanted to prioritize some of our most serious cases involving intimate partner violence, violations of protective orders involving firearms, as well as animal cruelty cases. We did this by utilizing our existing emergency response docket and hiring an associate judge to oversee those cases. Since its inception last year, that docket has disposed of over 1,100 cases. That's roughly 70% of the caseload that was assigned to it. It is our goal moving forward that we continue to develop pretrial intervention programs as well as specialty dockets that are rehabilitative in nature. This will allow us to give the citizens of Harris County the resources and tools they need to continue to become productive members of society.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge Hidalgo, Commissioners. My name is Raul Rodriguez. I am the judge of Harris County Criminal Court at Law Number 13. In 2020, we worked with our justice partners to create Cite and Release, a collaborative program that allows law enforcement officers the discretion to issue citations rather than make an arrest for certain low-level nonviolent offenses. The program is designed to decrease the number of nonviolent offenders in jail, mitigate the potential consequences of pretrial incarceration, like the loss of your job, housing, and even child custody, for low-level offenses, and boost public safety by letting police stay on the streets instead of spending hours transporting and processing low-level offenders. While law enforcement officers have underutilized this program, we still believe in its premise and want it to work. We are studying ways to make it more effective and utilized. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge Hidalgo, and to the esteemed commissioners. My name is Audrey Lawton Evans, and I am the presiding judge of Harris County Civil Court at Law Number 1. I'm here representing my three civil court colleagues, and we handle civil matters with disputes up to $250,000 a year. We also handle appeals from the eviction courts, from the 16 justice courts. Historically, our courts have maintained a docket of about 5,000 cases per year. We clear historically over 20,000 cases each year collectively. Beginning this year, and because of the surge of eviction appeals, with the help of this court and Commissioner Briones and the rest of this court, we were able to establish our first ever specialty eviction court and hired an associate judge, Jermaine Thomas. Just to give you an idea, from January to May of this year, we are on course and have handled 10,249 cases, of which we have closed 12,299 cases. Thank you, and we want COLA for the courts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, members of the court. I'm Marilyn Burgess, Harris County District Clerk. I'm here today to ask you to approve the implementation of a cost of living adjustment for Harris County elected officials. For the past 8 years, elected officials have not received a salary adjustment, and I respectfully think we deserve it and need it as much as any other Harris County employee. Our elected officials have been excluded from the last 2 COLAs, and I believe it is only fair that this court recognizes the value of the work we perform. As district clerk, I hold a position of high responsibility in Harris County, leading an agency with 550 employees. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, inflation has gone up 3.4% in the last year alone. I think this is a clear indicator of why our elected officials deserve a cost of living adjustment. I am respectfully asking Commissioners Court to approve the cost of living adjustment of 2% for fiscal year 23 and 7% for fiscal year 24, totaling an adjustment of 9% for all elected officials, the only Harris County employees previously excluded from the COLA adjustments. Clerk Hudspeth had intended to be here with us today to speak in favor of this as well, but the state observers made today their day to review her operations, and so she was unable to be here and join us. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you all so much. As you know, it's a non-agenda item, and so you better than anyone know we can't comment and have to abide by those rules. But we hear you guys. Thank you so much for your comments and for taking the time to be here and having such quick and to the point presentations. Thank you so much. All our best for the rest of your day. Thank you guys for your work. Thank you, Madam District Clerk, as well. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go to pictures.